Let me explain another conflict analysis tool called conflict mapping. This is also included in the stakeholder analysis. Conflict mapping looks a little busy and complicated of the current situation in Myanmar. Because it is a snapshot, it does not reflect historical changes in the conflict situation. The main utility of this tool is to visualize among different stakeholders. Using the list you developed when you engage in a stakeholder analysis, try to map out the stakeholders. As you can see that each stakeholder is represented by a circle. In this particular map, I have used the color blue to represent outside parties. At the same time, as you can see, I used the color green to represent the primary parties. Tatmadaw was represented in a dark green circle, and NLD is represented by a light green circle. Ethnic armed organizations are represented by red circles. Although it prevents the map to become too complicated, I have only listed a major ethnic armed organizations. And before the outbreak of the coup in February 1st in 2021, Myanmar has also faced with the humanitarian crisis in the Rakhine state, dealing with the issue of Rohingyas. And Rohingya are identified as orange circle, as well as Arakan Army is identified as an ethnic armed organization. And as you may notice that those stakeholders who are more powerful are identified as a bigger circle, and those actors or stakeholders whose power is very limited are given a very small circle. While it may be difficult to assess the power, but it can be concluded or judged from your assessment of the power in the previous stakeholder analysis. Let me continue to explain lines. A normal single line represents the cooperative relationship, and double lines means they are in ally. An ally means that a particular stakeholder has an influence over other stakeholders. On this map again, I try to capture a cooperative relationship between China and the Tatmadaw, because they have been a provider of the arms. And as you can see, the relationship between the United States and Japan, which is represented by the double line, means United States and Japan are allies. It is kind of tricky. While the two countries are allies in defense of Japanese national security, at the same time, it is not clear whether they are in ally with the issues over Myanmar. And there are some reports that NLD tries to organize NUG, or the National Unity Government, inviting ethnic armed organizations to join their causes. At the moment, it is not certain whether they have been able to create an alliance among the NLD and ethnic armed organizations. So at the moment, I draw a line between the NLD or NUG with ethnic armed organizations. NUG with ethnic armed organizations. And finally, for the ally, I have only drawn one line with an ally, which is the relationship between China, the United War State Army. The United War State Army is known as a close relationship with China. I have never been there, but there are a number of reports saying that there is a number of signs in the town full of Chinese characters, and Chinese currency has been used in that territory. And in fact, the United War State Army has been equipped and trained by Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA. I do not see that they have strong influence to change the behavior of the Tatmadaw. While the United States and EU and the UK has put Myanmar on sanctions, so you may be able to draw a confrontation line or zigzag line between the United States and the Myanmar or the Tatmadaw. But I have intentionally make it blank, because the United States has not been initiated any military sanctions against the Tatmadaw or the Myanmar. I hope now you have understood the utility of the tool, and hope you can familiarize yourself drawing a conflict map.